This is the original Peter Mckinnon 25-liter everyday carry camera bag, and I'm starting to have some real issues with it. Now before we start, we are so close to reaching 1,000 subscribers, which is a huge milestone. I'd really appreciate it if you guys subscribe and like. Now back to the video. I've been using this backpack for a few years now, and this is the first branded backpack that I've ever owned. Before this, I would be rocking Amazon Basics or whatever cheaper generic camera brand that I can get my hands on for cheap. But when this came out, there was so much hype around it, I had to get it and I had to try it for myself. I've been using it a lot, especially when it comes to flying, traveling, because it's very durable and it can hold a lot of gear. I usually try to stuff this with as much gear as I can, and I push it all the way to its limits, to the point where I'm surprised the zippers haven't broken yet. I like to carry all of my gear on me because I do not trust it in a check-in bag or even a carry-on, because sometimes they make you check in the carry-on at the gate. If anything happened to all my gear, I have no idea how I would ever recover from that, so I like to keep it on me at all times. So when it comes to travel, there's a lot to really love about this bag, but it's not labeled as a travel backpack. Nomadic has been calling this the everyday bag, and honestly, it doesn't live up to that name. Maybe I'm just getting old, but I cannot imagine myself using this for my day-to-day use. But let's start off with a tour of the bag. This first top compartment here is really handy because it stores things that may not fit in your main compartment that we'll get to. Sometimes I'll carry flashes, extra battery chargers, or mics that I can just throw into this compartment. If you're traveling, you can also throw some shirts, sweaters, jackets up in this compartment too. Now what I actually carry in this top compartment the majority of the time when I'm traveling is this tech organizer. Now this is also by Nomadic and Peter Mckinnon, and it actually fits perfectly in this top compartment with room to spare. This little pouch I actually like better than the bag itself. I feel like I could make a whole video about how useful this bag is and everything it can hold. I put my AirPods in here, my chargers, my cables, my Apple Watch, anything small enough to fit in here and that I might need on my trip. It's nice because it's right on the top of the bag, so whenever I need easy access to something, I can grab it and be good to go. Now to access the rest of the bag, you need to open it from the back, which is where the main compartment is. And you're able to customize this main compartment however you'd like. Nomadic offers these camera cubes. They offer a small version and a large version, which are basically little cubbies you can put in this main compartment to organize your gear. Within these small and large cubes, there's also Velcro dividers that you can use to separate lenses or camera bodies. These Velcro dividers are actually very good quality, and they hold up and they stick very well. I don't know how they got this Velcro to be so adhesive, but it is sturdy and it keeps everything in place. It's really easy to configure no matter what you're putting in this bag. On the back flap of the camera bag, there's also these two mesh zippers, and they carry smaller things like batteries, cables, ND filters, anything like that. And on this back flap, there's also a zipper on the side where you can put a 16-inch laptop. This fits my 16-inch MacBook Pro just fine, but I will say that if you put a case or anything bigger on this laptop, it might not fit. When I put my leather case on there, it just didn't fit the same. There's also two magnetic flaps on both sides that you can use to carry water bottles or even tripods. Now I don't know if it's just mine, but these magnetic flaps do tend to be a little flimsy at times, but there is a stretchy inner lining that does a pretty good job in keeping everything in place. One thing about these straps on both sides, which is crazy, is if you put a tripod in place, every other backpack has straps to keep it from sliding around. When it comes to Nomadic, they charge you an extra $20 just for these small little straps to keep your tripod in place. $20 might not seem like too much, but for small little straps, it's steep. And we'll get to the price of everything later, but we'll see that that's a huge problem when it comes to this backpack. Now, when it comes to the build quality of this backpack, especially when it comes to travel, it is one of the better built backpacks. It is weather resistant, so you don't have to worry about conditions in case you're traveling, and it's pretty easy to clean too. It does have a lot of space, allowing you to bring everything you need to when you're traveling, especially if you get the dividers like I did. I got the large camera cube and it does hold a lot. And when you stuff it to its max full of gear and it's hard to even close it up, I'll tell you that those zippers hold up very well. I have stuffed it up to the point where it is barely even zipping up, and I've really had to manhandle and force it closed, and the zippers still hold up after all these years. One thing that's also really nice about this bag is that the bottom is flat, and it is a little bit weighted toward the bottom, and so whenever you put the gear down on the floor, it will not tip over or fall. It'll just kind of sit there, which is really nice if you're at an airport and you want to place it on your carry-on to roll around, or if you want to just place it down on a chute and you don't want to worry about it falling over and getting dirty. My major issues when it comes to this camera bag is actually two things. First one being price. The setup I have with the large camera cube organizer is $370. That is ridiculous, not to mention the small camera tech organizer that I use, which is another $70. That plus the addition of those straps that they make you get if you want to put a tripod on there, your total comes out with tax to almost $500 for everything. That is one of the most expensive camera bags that I've ever heard of. Even for a very high quality top tier bag, that is extremely overpriced. The price makes it almost not worth it, especially if you're getting all of these accessories so that you can use it to its full capabilities. The other thing about this bag that I have an issue with is that it's called an everyday carry bag. Now don't get me wrong, if you are traveling and using this bag as your personal item and then maybe a Pelican or a regular suitcase as a carry-on, that is more than enough space for most gigs, or if you're just traveling for fun. It's great for that use scenario, but as an everyday bag, I just don't see it. This bag can get extremely heavy if you are packing it with a bunch of gear, and I just cannot imagine myself wearing it every day. It's pretty large, and I don't think I'll be able to use it as an everyday type of bag. I have been testing bags that are more of an everyday type of bag, and it's for half the price. And so for a backpack like that, I don't think this is worth it. Overall, it's an expensive and overpriced bag that is well built and isn't worth it for a lot of people. I'll be posting a video soon featuring a backpack that's more of an everyday camera bag, so stay tuned for that. And if that video is already out, I'll put it in the description below. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and like I said, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers, so if you would subscribe and like this video, it would mean so much to me. If you want to check out the Peter Mckinnon bag or any of the other gear I use, I do have links down in the description below. Thank you all for the support so far, I really appreciate it. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you next time.